Oh man. Jeez. Cheers. Please let me know if y'all can hear me. Like, it's been a morning already, y'all. It's been a morning already. You could definitely tell that 5 planets are in Gatorade right now. Like, that's the perfect, like, it's already like that. 5 planets are in Gatorade. Anyways, let me actually, start this thing. Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love. My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for today, Monday, July 24th of 2023. We are on take 2 because the video I uploaded earlier had no sound. I forgot to turn my mic on, so now I have to remake this. I'm not sure how much. I don't know if the last one was 25 minutes. I don't know if this one will go 25 minutes. This one might actually be one of the shortest astrology forecasts that I do, just because I want to see if I can actually kind of get it into a more concrete, more compact kind of way. So I figured I'd just do it live instead of waiting. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's nothing really in the description, so I'll edit that after the fact. But please let me know if you guys can actually hear me. Um, yeah, please let me know if y'all can actually hear me. I'm pretty sure I turned my mic on. I mean, let me look at my settings and stuff. Audio. Yeah, it looks like everything's actually working. Like I said, we have 5 planets in Gatorade right now, y'all. We got Venus in Gatorade. We got Chiron in Gatorade. We got Neptune, Saturn, Pluto. Like, if you show up and you realize that you left something at home, if you left one of your documents at home, or if you make a video and there's no sound on, or if your hair's not cooperating, none of the clothes in your closet, you don't really feel great in any of the clothes in your closet, you're just like, and you just put something on just to get through the day. That's kind of this energy. Like, it's like, now at least with today, we don't have like a lot of major aspects happening, mind you, but awesome. Appreciate you. Even though we don't have a lot of major aspects happening, we do have like a lot of course, building energy. It's one of those sort of in between days. Now, you guys didn't hear anything on the last video that I posted. I deleted it really fast, so I don't even know who all got the notification for it. But essentially, what I was talking about mainly was the moon that's going to be opposing Chiron today. I also talked about how the sun, of course, has moved into Leo. We did have just Venus go retrograde. So whenever the sun moves into Leo, whatever planets are in that space definitely get a bit of a boost. They get like an energy. They definitely feel a lot more illuminated, a little bit more invigorated. So that's kind of like the nice blessing in disguise that we have now that Venus has gone retrograde. Of course, we have all the space between Mars, Pallas Athena, and Black Moon Lilith are between it. Mercury's going to swap places with Venus soon. So there's definitely going to be this element where it's like, all right, Venus is going backwards now. She's kind of giving up on trying to get to Mars at the current moment, whatever like that. She's got to really focus on her own self and her own journey right now. But she's not necessarily feeling as valuable right now, maybe not necessarily feeling as creative or maybe even as wanted. She's really trying to go within, trying to figure out what's going on within her own heart. She may not feel as beautiful right now, right? But with the sun here, the sun's going to be like, just shine and be yourself regardless. Even if your hair is not cooperating, even if you ran out of lotion, even if you're not really feeling great in any of the clothes in your closet, and this goes for both males and females because we both do this. I do this. There are times where I look in the closet and I'm like, man, I don't want to wear anything because nothing is speaking to me, because we have Mercury here too on top of Venus, getting very close to Venus, so nothing could be even speaking to you right now, but the sun is here wanting to illuminate and shine through anything. The sun shines regardless of how clear it is or how cloudy it is. The sun will shine regardless. So this is going to be a lesson, over the next 30 days, especially because, this Venus retrograde is going to be 40 days and 40 nights, right? So at least we have the sun here with Venus for the next 30 days, which is going to be wanting to inject some positivity, some power, some light, wanting us to radiate our love and really step into our authentic self. So that's the beautiful thing about this, is that we do have the sun, at least with Venus, for the next 30 days. And, she won't be by herself in Leo until literally a month from now. It'll be August 24th, and the sun will be in Virgo, Mercury will be in Virgo. Juno will be in Leo with her as well. But as far as major planets, major celestial bodies, Venus will finally be alone on August the 24th. So at least until then, we do have the sun illuminating space. It's back at home. It's feeling good. It's feeling positive. So at least we do have that. So it's like, this is a sort of thing where show up even if you're not feeling 100%. Show up even if you're not feeling 100% creative, if you're not feeling like you're like look-wise, if you're not 100%, if you feel like you're not there all the way, even if you like the value or financially, even just like show up even then. Just recognize your truth, recognize your value, and show up regardless, because we are all dealing with worries and fears. We're all worrying about, well, should I put myself really out there if I'm not 100% polished and like perfect right now? Then there's an element of that, of course, Mars being in Virgo, coming off of the opposition to Saturn. This is definitely an element where it's like we want to show the world in many ways our messiness. We want to show the world our quirkiness. We want to be as transparent as we possibly can. Well, we want to be transparent, I mean, the South Node did just come out of Scorpio, but there's going to be a power to transparency right now. Instead of pulling out that we are super, I'm going to give it like a representation of this. Instead of putting out that we are, and I love this stone, right? It's polished though. It's one of my favorite stones. But, instead of putting out that we are super polished, right? Maybe we have, and this is clear, but maybe we're a little bit more jagged. Maybe we can see a little bit more, you know what I mean? We can see a little bit more of that detail and everything, right? Some of y'all are wanting to only put yourself out there when you feel and look like this, when most of the time you feel and look like this. Or shoot, maybe even, I don't know if I have like any other stones like in my direct vicinity to kind of like, or, I mean, you have this one right here too, where on the back, it's kind of rough, but then on the front, you have this. So that's another thing too. Some of y'all are afraid to show the back. Some of y'all are afraid to show, your backbone, your spine, your foundation, if you will. This is definitely a moment where we want to embrace all of that. Water the garden that we are in instead of thinking that something's going to be more beautiful on the other side. So we all are dealing with that lesson right now of showing up even if we're not feeling 100%, and showing up even if we feel like we're a novice, intermediate, or we are a master or expert level, and wherever we are in, we all have room for growth. You know what I mean? So it's like, this is definitely a good element. This is definitely a good time to experiment, be creative, get messy, make mistakes, and embrace those mistakes, embrace the messiness, and be transparent about it too. Because then someone will be like, well, I thought you claimed to be an expert at this. I didn't claim to be an expert at this. This is sort of like the whole, like, not slander, but almost sort of embarrass yourself so no one else can embarrass you and doesn't affect you, right? And there are going to be certain people who say like, oh, you can only do this until you reach this level. Why? Why can't you start right now? Why can't you do it right now? Just because you're not on a certain level, who said that you have to be on a certain level to start? We just dealt with the opposition of the sun and Pluto, right? The sun's coming off of that energy. Now, main aspect that I wanted to talk about today was the moon opposing Chiron here at 19 degrees. Now, what's interesting about this energy is that Chiron is at 19 degrees of Leo, which is the exalted energy. You remember the sun is exalted in Aries, right? And it's at the exalted degree. This is the degree that the sun feels incredibly strong and powerful at, is 19 degrees. And we have the moon, which will oppose Chiron on that spot. This kind of gives the energy of like a faux, not really, but kind of like a faux full moon kind of energy, where we are looking at, our quirks, in many ways, Chiron, I like to say quirks. So a lot of people call it the wounded healer. So it can represent like our mistakes, our traumas and stuff like that. And it's the glyph of a key. So I feel like it's through those that we kind of open up a new doorway of understanding and like really uncover our gifts and uncover our superpowers. Now, I keep saying that, generally when you look at these superhero origin stories, generally they're rooted in some sort of trauma, right? Now, with the moon opposing this spot, all the while these are also making the square over to Juno, and Juno represents our commitments in many ways. So we have to ask ourselves, what are we really committed to? And now that the North Node is here with Chiron and Mars is dispositing this energy in Virgo too, there's definitely going to be this element where it's like our actions are going to be under like this sort of critical eye, if you will, not only of ourselves, but from other people. And we have to ask ourselves, are we willing to really put ourselves out there? Are we willing to really embrace who we really are, our flaws and all, our beautiful parts, our not so great beautiful parts, our quirks, our challenges, our frustrations, our joy? Are we going to show all of that? Or are we only going to put out like this polished image that seems perfect, but then once you get really in there, you realize that there's some weird aspects there, and there's some parts of us that we don't really like and don't necessarily want to show people. And the problem is that we try and hide it, hold it, suppress it, and then it blows up and comes out. So it's like, are we going to just cater and try and keep the peace? And I think there's an element to here where it's like, it's okay to keep the peace and keep harmony, but at the same time, we don't want to make peace for just the sake of making peace, while also casting aside your truth and like your value, your sense of self, and who you really are, and actually really expressing yourself. Some of you, myself included, in many ways. So it's a lesson that we all have to learn. Sometimes we will hold ourselves back because we're afraid of what so and so is going to think, what so and so is going to say. We're worried about the sacrifice that comes with being our true self and being truly authentic, because it is a sacrifice. You got to remember, Chiron also does rule over sacrifices. Chiron was immortal, sacrificed mortality, and became a healer. There's an element of sacrifice to any time that we have an aspect with Chiron. And now that North Node is here and Mars is aspecting it, it's dispositing it, it's influencing this energy. And the sun, I would say, is definitely influencing Chiron, while the sun, while it's at home in Leo, mind you, and Chiron is at this exalted degree, there's definitely this element where it's just like shine bright regardless. And whether you feel 100% today or 50 or 25 or 4, to shine bright regardless and just show up. And just like, this is not so much that you need to just do things for the sake of doing it, but this is more so just like embracing that, hey, I'm here, I am I'm a co-creative, powerful being with this universe. And I may make some mistakes. I may fall down. I may freaking leave my mic off for a 25-minute video, but I still show up. Even if I'm a little late, I'm still here. So yeah, definitely with the moon in Libra, we're looking for some sort of balance, some sort of harmony, some sort of understanding, relatability to other people, balancing things out. So today is going to be a day where we're definitely going to be balancing things out as far as our commitments, whether or not we are overly committing to one side or the other, because you don't necessarily want to go so far into the Aries energy where you ostracize yourself and then you just become an asshole or a bitch and no one wants to hang out with you. You don't want to go to that. You don't want to go to that degree. Have some haters, of course. You're going to have haters. You're going to have fans, right? Have some haters, of course, but just be you. You don't go so far into it where you completely like push everyone away. But don't go so far into the Libra energy where you're too indecisive and then you feel like this sort of weird guilt inside because you want to make people happy, but you're not making yourself happy because you're not really stepping into your truth. You can become very indecisive. South Node in Libra is a very indecisive energy, but the Sun in Leo is like just be and go for it and shine, Sun can't necessarily worry about whether or not it's perfect in every single moment. It just does. It just goes. That's how it's perfect. It's just by simply being, right? So Yeah, I think today, like I said, it's going to be an interesting day. We still, of course, have Venus over here in Leo, making the quincunx over to Pluto and Neptune while they sextile each other. So we still have that yacht going on as well. But like I said, this is definitely going to be a day where we can unlock our quirks. I call them quirks because I'm talking about, My Hero Academia, where they call superpowers quirk. They call the superpowers quirks. And it's like some of you guys are utilizing your quirks in arenas and areas where they just don't really match. Like it doesn't really make sense because you're trying to conform yourself to a certain standard. You know what I mean? Some of you have quirks that will be better suited in different arenas. You know, like one of my favorite quirks from that show is the chick that has like the earphone jacks and stuff. I think that's dope. But the earphone jacks wouldn't be beneficial if she was using them in like a setting where, like, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of a random. It wouldn't really be necessarily useful in a setting where, like, I don't know, she's like welding or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it could be. Maybe you can hear the exact moment when some chemical reaction happens, but I'm just coming up with like a random example, right? It wouldn't necessarily be beneficial for like trying to fix like a computer. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just some of you guys are using quirks in areas where it doesn't actually match what it is. You know, how do you get to that place? Well, you have to flow with the universe. We all have gifts and we have to learn how to flow with the universe. Sometimes we like to stuff those gifts into certain boxes because we feel like we want the acknowledgement to come in that sort of way. We feel like we want it to look that certain way, but in reality, it doesn't actually match. We're not in sync. They're off. The vibration is off. So it's just about like going into like your natural flow, which you will discover when you go into your natural flow that it does give a greater sense of freedom, but with freedom comes responsibility. And with freedom, there comes a fair amount of sacrifice as well. We have to ask ourselves, what are we willing to sacrifice? And I think a lot of these things will just sort of come naturally, but what are we willing to sacrifice so we can have this freedom, right? Because freedom is not free. So, yeah. Um, I still can't believe that my sound was off. Like, I'm still just like, it's 11:57. This is definitely the latest I put out a daily video. But hey, I'm still here. I showed up. I'm maybe a little fashionably late, but I'm still here. So I think it's kind of perfect for all these energies. Like I said, we do have 5 planets in gatorade right now. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get the cards for today. It'll be interesting to see how the cards shift from earlier. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to just pull the same cards that I did from earlier. So it'll be interesting to see how they actually shift, And everything happens for a reason. I think, I probably had to do a double take on this, even though I felt like I really channeled and did a really good job on that first one. Sometimes things happen and you just gotta, it just is what it is, So let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. We have the Queen of Swords in reverse. We have the Queen of Swords in reverse. We also have the Nine of Cups in reverse. I did get the Nine of Cups in the first go round. So there's definitely something there. I got the Nine of Cups in the first go round. And then I also have, I have the card of the Universe or the World card. Yeah, I think this is really coming down to trusting the universe. I think it's like the Queen of Swords, being that it's thank you. Yes, we had a beach party at one of my stores. We had at our Woodstock location. We had a beach party going on, so we had like lays and fun stuff. So, but the Queen of Swords in reverse, yeah, this is definitely a moment where it's like you may not necessarily have all the information right now, and there's this beheading that's happening. She beheaded her father. You know what I mean? So you don't want to go beheading people metaphorically in your life if you don't have all the information right now. And if you're not feeling 100%, it's not really a time to just go around and start just like chopping people and cutting people off, whatever like that, because of something you don't have all the information right now. Now you have the Nine of Cups in reverse. And the reason why you're probably doing this is because you're trying to look for some sort of emotional fulfillment. He has all these cups, all of this hard work that he's done. And it's cool because he has like like the little wishes that he put like on the bamboo tree, which is like a tradition too. So like there's definitely this, and this is probably like, probably like after he just went to a festival, and now he has all these cups behind him. And of course, he has the one with them with the fan too, but it is reversed. So I think in many ways we feel like we've been doing the work, putting out these wishes to the universe. And it's not just wishes for the sake of wishing. It's not praying for the sake of praying. It's backed by action. I can feel that way. We have to just trust the divine timing of the universe. We have to trust the divine timing of the universe. Just because something hasn't shown up physically yet doesn't mean that it's not materializing. Sometimes things take time to materialize. Whenever you have a bunch of planets that are retrograde, it definitely brings on a more like internal energy. So because we have that many planets retrograde, that means that the internal world, the spiritual world, the etheric realms, if you will, things are speeding up there. So even though things may feel like they're slowing down here in this physical reality, it doesn't mean that things aren't speeding up elsewhere. Because you have like as above so below, but also you have like, well, if something's going in that direction and pushing, something is also pulling. So I think there's an element where we all feel like we want to have more to show for, especially if you've been putting in a lot of the spiritual work over the last 3 years. You're wanting to have more to show for it, and there may be a tendency to go and chop people's heads off, sitting your throne with that power and stuff like that. But you don't necessarily want to just go start chopping heads off because you don't have all the information right now, just because things haven't really manifested physically the way that you want to right now. It's not a time to do that. It's time to just trust the universe, trust in the divine flow of things, and know that you'll be all right. I'm going to draw one more card too, because I did that in the last one. But yeah, we got the Four of Cups. Now it is reversed, which is interesting. So this is actually a time of like, they're resting behind this dilapidated wall, probably because there's some sort of monster they're fighting on the other side. Some of you guys have been resting for too long. It's time for you to go out and actually fight. It's like, you can't just sit in your throne room and then hear the information and then be like, make like your decrees from that spot. No, you actually have to go out there and see for your own eyes and experience for yourself, not just waiting for something to happen. This is a time for actually going out and coming out from behind that shield, if you will, kind of come out, put yourself out there, be you, be messy. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a moment, like expose yourself. We're going to get a lot of like disclosure and exposure over the next 5-10 years. Expose yourself. All right? Get out there. Get on the battlefield. Do it. Be creative. Get messy. Make mistakes. Embrace those mistakes. Show it. That way someone will be like, oh, well, you did this and you did that and you messed up this one. I'm like, yeah, I know. I talked about it. I was the first one to talk about it. Like for me, I was like, in the first one, I didn't have this lay on the first go around with these videos. But I was like, yeah, screw it. And look, I said that this was probably going to be a short video. It ended up being 25 minutes because I like to ramble. I like to talk to you guys. But I ain't going to change that for no one. I may make shorter content, but as far as like the actual daily videos, these are going to go long. Some people would probably prefer it to be like a 5-minute clip or a 2-minute clip. But I'm sorry, the astrology, the way I channel them, the way I talk to the planets, the celestial bodies, they always have a lot more to say. So I can't just simply put it into like a 5 or 10-minute clip. So orangutan. Working to live joyously, not living to work. Oh my goodness, isn't that like just working to live joyously, not living to work? Embrace your joy. And work towards building a life where you can live and be in joy every single day. There's this, I guess, a lot of people felt like, how can everyone live in joy every single day? Isn't someone going to get left out? Isn't someone going to get left out of the game of musical chairs if everyone is living in their joy every single day? Because what if someone living in their joy goes against what someone else's joy is? Well, how else do we think that beings like the Pleiadians were able to ascend as an entire collective? Because they were all living in their joy. I believe we can do that. And maybe I'm a little naive for thinking that and believing that we can actually do that. But I believe we actually can, because beings have done it before. And some of y'all have done it before. And we as humanity actually did do it before, and then we fell. But working to live joyously and not living to work, not just living just for the sake of work, but actually having purpose and actually walking that spiritual path, it's going to go a long way. Anyways, that's going to do it for your astrology forecast today. I'm glad that you guys can actually hear me this time. Anyways, y'all take care. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. If you'd like a personal reading with me, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. And as always, y'all take care. Stay blessed. Have a wonderful, marvelous Monday start of the week. And sun is in Leo. Let's shine bright. Let's go out there and do it. Let's go get it. Let's make it happen. Y'all take care. Stay blessed. I love you all. Peace out.